Three, two, one, 1, 2, 3. Hello, everybody. This is John Felt. Welcome to the Ag Weather Outlook. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, enjoying the rest of the holiday weekend. Now, we had a pretty active system across the country over the last couple days and going on right at this time. I talk a lot about deep-seated moisture. You'll hear me talk about that. And one of the reasons when I'm looking at very heavy precipitation, it's not just at the Earth's surface. It's not just what you see on the TV weather map, but it's way up in the atmosphere that really is the determining feature whether we get heavy rain or snow or not. Now, over the last couple days, we had a unusually strong, actually a record strong for this time of year, Eastern Pacific hurricane, Hurricane Sandra, and this is deep-seated moisture, tropical moisture, and that got fed into this system, into the Midwest here, and that's what resulted in very heavy rain, primarily south of the Corn Belt, Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, but some of it did get further to the north, and that did produce some pockets of heavier rainfall. So if we want to look at where the precipitation was the last 7 days, you can see that area of darker green, that's about an inch of rain, so a fairly soaking rain from Missouri up towards Michigan, across Illinois, parts of Indiana and surrounding states. Some pockets in there, as indicated in yellow, did receive 2 inches of rain. But if you look north and east of that area, fairly dry, and you can see that in the last 7 days here, the areas in yellow, red, and white were below normal precipitation. Now, some of that came in the form of snow, very heavy snow, matter of fact, in parts of Kansas. You can see that area of darker blue. Medium blue was also a fairly moderate snowfall, 4 to 6 inches. So good part of eastern Kansas, fairly significant snow. Now, I think what's interesting, if you remember recently, the first snowstorm that came through sort of came through here. Here's the second one, came through here. And now we're going to have a third one I'm going to be talking about this week. And look at the overlap. We're getting this overlap here in Iowa. And a little teaser here for my briefing. That area is going to get more snow. So we're really starting to get the third snow system over parts of Iowa very early this year. Now, temperatures last week were variable with this front. Generally speaking, we averaged close to normal, but it did cool off latter part of the week once that front passed through. Okay, so here's a jet stream this week. When we have this flow here from the southwest, this is the direction of the flow, often we get some weaker systems that eject out of the southwest up towards the northeast, and that's what we're going to have this week. We're going to have a system moving through. This is late on Monday. And what we have here is we have this area of low pressure, and we end up with a band of snow again. Third system right in this area here. The heaviest snow is right now forecast here. And this is a ways off, 2 or 3 days off, so I don't think we can get too much focused on exactly where this will be. But right now, it does look like the northwest part of Iowa, parts of Nebraska, parts of South Dakota, parts of Minnesota as that system moves through. Temperatures this week, generally they're going to average close to normal over most regions for midwinter or for early winter. Just give you some example, on Thursday we're looking at 20s in the upper Midwest, 30s on the eastern Corn Belt. Right in this gradient where it goes from not quite so cold to cold, that's that gradient of where we're going to get the best possibility of the heavier snow. If we look at Thursday temperatures, highs in the 30s in the upper Midwest and in the 40s over the east, which is getting fairly close to normal in this region here. Now let's look at precipitation this week over the next 7 days. Really, if you're not in that band of snow, I don't think precipitation is going to be all that significant. Now there will be some rain over the central and eastern Corn Belt. I don't think amounts are going to be all that heavy. It's going to be fairly dry over the far upper Midwest, but this is that area again, right in here. This is in the cold air, so unfortunately that's going to be in the form of snow once again. And if we look at snow amounts, here we go. So again, this could be changed a bit, a little bit further north, south, a little bit heavier, lighter. But right now, this is a fairly heavy amounts of snow, over 6 inches, over maybe even 8 inches, right in the core part of this band right here. And again, first band came right through here. Second band came through here. Look at that. We're getting an overlap right in here. And I'm sure in that area, you're getting pretty tired of hearing about snow, especially this early in the year. So here's your precipitation anomalies for week 1. And like I said, if you're not in that area of green there, it's not going to be all that eventful of a week. There will be some precipitation, but I think it's going to be light. But if you're in that band of green, especially Iowa, it's going to be a fairly active week with some snow early this week. Now let's go out a little bit further in December. Here we go. And this is the 3rd through the 8th, and 6 to 10 days out. And this area of brown is indicating to me, and I've got to use this with a little bit of caution as we get into winter here because it gets more active. This is indicating it's probably not going to be a strong push of Arctic air during this time frame. So we look at temperatures, they're saying they're fairly close to normal. Now we are getting in December now, so it's going to be cold, but this is not indicating to me that there's going to be any really strong push of Arctic air into the Midwest. Now look up to our north in Canada, you can see that temperatures are actually above normal. So this is indicating that the polar jet stream is strong and it's holding that Arctic air up there, at least at this time. Then as we get into December 8th through the 13th, you can see that, again, I don't see any of that really strong blue, and that's indicating, again, that the warm air is being held up to the north. Now let's take a glance at precipitation for week 2, and it's looking quieter at this time. So very much it could be that this snow event this week could be what we're seeing. The other thing that's sort of interesting is, I've mentioned it before, that El Nino is one of the things we see in El Nino is generally sort of dry over the eastern Corn Belt, Ohio River Valley, Tennessee River Valley. Even though we've had some rain this week, it seems like the models are continuing to try to show that as the possibility. So let's keep an eye on that over the next couple of weeks and see if that's actually what we're getting into. So far, it hasn't been real clear, but maybe that's what we are going to get into now. Now, last week, with that rain, that certainly didn't do that. And, that's sort of good we got that rain, because what we want to do, we don't want to get too far out of balance as far as getting too dry this early in the season if that typical El Nino dry pattern would kick in for the latter part of winter. So that was actually good that we got that rain for most areas anyway, because it's keeping us in balance. So here's your takeaway. Unfortunately, a third winter storm over the central Midwest this week with the possibility of very heavy snow. Overall, typical early winter temperatures and near normal or below normal precipitation elsewhere. So enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. You can always email me, john@bluewateroutlook.com. I hear from you every once in a while. I do appreciate that. And track the rain and snow on our interactive radar there. So if you're in an area with that snow, track it on that. And I'll be talking with you again next weekend.